This might be the cheapest 2024 Ducati Diavel V4 in the entire world, and I got it. And I don't know if that's a good thing. You see, this 2024 Ducati V4 was wrecked, if you can't tell, and it's not in the best of shape. And this actually isn't even as bad as how it came to me. Let me show you. Buying a used vehicle is pretty scary, and buying a known wrecked vehicle, sight unseen, you know you're in for a good time, especially when it shows up on a flatbed next to a burnt out truck. And by pretty exciting, I mean a little hairy. This is not a 2024 wheel. This is. And this is how it came to me. I got this wheel mangled. This wheel is off of a 2018 Ducati Diavel, I believe. And it is serving its purpose for right now. But very soon, we're gonna have to take it all apart, check the suspension, get everything squared away. But for right now, it's doing its job. One of the reasons I bought this motorcycle to begin with was because I lost my job 2 months ago. And that's never a really great place to buy a motorcycle, but I needed something to do. No, I do not think it was financially responsible for me to have lost my job and to buy a motorcycle, but here we are. This is not a Ducati. This is my BMW S1000RR. It is a 2000 and, what year are you? It is a 2018 model, the last year that they made the asymmetric lights on the BMW, and I got this bike wrecked. Both the BMW and the Ducati are both salvage vehicles, which means on their title, they'll always have a red mark essentially saying that they are not clean title vehicles. And that also means that they come very cheap, which is great for me. Even used, this 2024 Diavel V4 is going for between $25,000 to $32,000 right now, and that is way more money than I paid for it. This motorcycle, brand new, I could never afford. And the hope of this motorcycle really is to just have something to tinker with, to build better, and to, at the end of the day, have a bike that either I really enjoy and can do longer trips on than the sport bike, or to share with friends and family, let them take a ride on it, let them take it out for a spin, and possibly get rid of it? I don't know, we'll have to find out. But right now, the price for it, I'm gonna keep under lock and key, and later on, we'll talk about how much we spent and how much we have to spend on the way to rebuild. When I looked at the auction photos online, it looked really doable. It looked broken for sure, but doable. Looking at it now in person, there's a lot more that needs fixing. Another thing that I forgot to mention was that when I bought this motorcycle, I bought it as a non-running motorcycle. So no tank, no keys, no start. And that was really a leap of faith for me. And actually, I don't even know if it starts yet. We're still gonna find that out together. So there's a couple of really big things that are going on this motorcycle. One, the whole tank is missing, so that's gonna have to be replaced. The other is that the keys were missing, and usually that's not that big of a deal. But this Ducati is a 2024, and so they have to do 2024 things, which means remote start. Now, me being the super sleuth that I am, I couldn't just rest knowing that there's a pin out there that I could get to get the screen on, and I was on a mission to find that pin at whatever cost. It was actually fairly easy. Now, for everybody out there who is terrified of having their information on the internet, this may be an area where you cover your ears. Having the title of this vehicle, I was able to see the person who previously owned the motorcycle and the city they lived in, nothing else. But there is a fancy website called whitepages.com.org. I'm not sure, it's White Pages. I was able to put in the previous owner's information, and it spat out a whole bunch of different names, addresses, and phone numbers. And so what I had to do is do a little bit of sleuthing to figure out who was the previous owner, give them a quick ring, ask them if they would be so kind as to give me the PIN number, and they gave it to me. The really cool thing with these remote starts, even without a key, using this ignition here, you can twist and it will ask you to enter that pin. So I'm gonna go ahead and enter the pin. So you do that over here by just tapping these buttons here to put in the pin. So I'm not gonna show you exactly what it is. And just like that, we have a dash, which is awesome. I don't see, oh, there it is. 894 miles. This thing is stinking brand new. I gotta get the full story on this thing. But this thing is brand new, which is super awesome. That's really cool, and that saves me a lot of headache. Not a whole lot. There's a lot of stuff on this motorcycle that you can very easily see is broken. Just looking at it, I know there's a lot of things. Some things, I don't even know what they are. We're gonna find out together. Talked about this already. The gas tank is gone, but even underneath the gas tank, they've got issues. We have a wire here. I don't know what this wire goes to. Probably fuel pump. I don't know. We got some hoses. The wiring, for the most part, looks pretty good, which is great. Battery's still fully intact. We got fuses over here. Great. The radiator underneath, it definitely moves, and that's not good. I don't know if the front forks here just shifted or they're bent. My guess is they're bent, but we're gonna find out. Another piece of damage that I found was this here. This is a handlebar stop where it would butt up against the frame of the bike to stop the handlebars from going too far. That's no good. That's gonna be either just fully replacing that or finding somebody who can weld a new nub on there. Looking for frame damage, I found this here, which I can't tell if this was torn off the frame or this just screws into the frame. Another interesting thing is that it has a handlebar stay here, which is where the handlebars come in. So each handlebar comes out separately. I'm hoping that I can just pull them out and put them back in. This is metal. It has this weird crease in it. That doesn't seem good to me. This whole thing might have to go. Footrest should be here. That's gone. I don't know exactly what this does, but that looks expensive. This is broken, gonna need to either fix or replace this. It's also missing completely. There are two giant air ducts that go right on the side of here. Missing those completely. Headlight is definitely scuffed a good bit. I don't know if that's broken behind there. A lot of times the clips on these break really easily, but this is gonna either need to be replaced or fixed. I think I can fix this, but we'll see. Unfortunately, this is broken, and this is one of the stays for the main air duct bracket that goes on here. So that's gonna need to be replaced. This mirror is broken. This mirror is doing okay, great. Ooh, that's nifty. Having rebuilt the BMW, I know that fairings are gonna be crazy expensive if you wanna go OEM. You can get aftermarket fairings, but they're not always as great. And that's about as much of the motorcycle that we're gonna be able to assess without taking it apart. And so that's what's next. Next, we get to dig into the motorcycle, take it apart, find all the pieces that are missing, find all the pieces that are broken, and replace them. Let's get to it. All right, so the first thing I want to do is take off the front suspension of the motorcycle. And in order to take off the front suspension, we need to lift it up so that way when the whole front end comes off, it doesn't just come toppling down. Seeing as I don't have lots of money, I didn't just go out and buy any sort of lifts for it. I have an old car jack, and I made a very crude hanging system for the front end. And we're gonna see if that works. So here we go. Oh. Yeah. The idea is that the straps attached to the frame will allow me to take off the whole front suspension and not have it just come crashing to the ground. All right, so the bike is off the ground, which is a little bit sketchy, but it's doing its job for right now. And that's all I need, I think. I would rather it be safer, but we make do. So here we go. First things first, we gotta take off that front wheel so we can get to the suspension. A couple screws on either side for the mud guard, and then moving right along to the front brake to remove the front wheel. All right, now that the front wheel is out, I can continue on starting to remove this front mud guard, the front brakes here, and then make my way up and see if I can get that front suspension out. I don't know if they're any good. I really hope so. I feel like these are going to be warped, but time will tell. Just one more bolt on the mudguard to get that fully detached. And then back to the front brakes so I can get those removed and get everything detached from that front suspension. Finally, got to remove that speed sensor. Hope that didn't break. Undid a couple of bolts and it slid right out. There are way more spacers here than I felt necessary, but that's Ducati. All right, that wasn't so bad. I got the front brakes off. I got the speed sensor off. Everything is held up on a bungee right now, so it's out of the way, safe and sound. And now we're gonna try to get off that front suspension. We'll see how that goes. To my knowledge, the front suspension should only be held in place by these two bolts. So really quickly got those loose, and it should, in theory, just slide right out. I don't know if this is the best way to get the suspension off, but both of these bolts are hand loose and it's still not coming out. So I'm gonna use my rubber mallet and see if I can't find a way to get this thing out. I mean, it's coming. That's what she said. Yeah. All right, well, that one's easier. All right, so I was able to get one of the front suspension out, or at least down, but I realized that the bike isn't high enough off the ground to get it all the way out of the clamps. So I'll have to lift it up. First I want to get the other one at least down, and then we'll move forward from there. The suspension should have slid out very easily at this point. I needed to remove the front suspension so I could get back to the radiators and even more into the motorcycle. And so I had no choice. The hammer came back out. Okay. Ooh. All right. All right, so we finally got the front suspension all the way out. Looks like the front headlight here just popped off this mount here. I'm not sure about the brackets up here. It looks like all the wiring is all set. That's good. And as far as the suspension itself, I'm not sure if they're bent or not. They look fairly straight from the naked eye. They look almost all right. I'm not sure. We'll find out. Looking at it from this point of view, I'm really excited about it. There's a lot of really cool stuff going on. There seems to be not as much damage as I thought there might be. Again, things may be hidden, so we're gonna be digging in and finding that stuff out. We still got a lot more to do. Front suspension was fairly easy, but next we have the rest of this front end. So we have radiators, we have oil cooler, headlight, we have the upper handbar stay and the handlebars themselves. All of this front end is gonna have to come off to make sure everything is good and safe to use or broken and needs to be replaced. That's gonna be a wrap for this episode. We still have a lot to do. We still have a lot more to dig into. On the next episode, we're gonna continue breaking down this motorcycle, taking down the front end, as well as revealing the price breakdown. So how much I won this motorcycle for and money that we've already spent and money that we are going to continue to spend. So stick around, smash the like button, subscribe if you can. Thanks so much for watching.